Everybody's back. I need a motion to take us out of executive session.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to return from executive session after discussing item 4.4.2.
There's a motion from Mr. Pia. Mr. Perillo, do you agree? Yes, second, we should come out. Okay. Any discussion on coming out of, if not, we'll call it for a vote. All in favor coming out of executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes, 8-0.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to instruct the town attorney's office to proceed as discussed in executive session for item 4.4.2.
There's a motion from Mr. Pia. Mr. Harden, seconded. Is there any discussion on 4.4.2? If not, we'll call it to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. I'd like to get a motion to strike 4.4.3. Is there a motion, Ms. Stancho?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that item 4.4.3 is stricken from tonight's agenda.
Is there a second? Mr. O'Brien, I see a second. Any discussion on striking that? If not, we'll call the vote. Motion passes 8-0. Oh, I skipped everything. So back up, moving too fast. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0 with the chair voting with. Okay, we're getting down on no unfinished business. What's that?
The psychic thing.
Oh, the psychic thing, yeah. I'm missing something.
What I was saying, Billy's has a psychic in his district.
Oh, yeah. I got it now. I got it. Okay. Moving right down to ordinance and resolutions. There's nothing before. Can I get a motion on 6.1.1, an ordinance regarding illicit discharge and connection waters? Anybody? Ms. Stancho.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that it be resolved that the first reading of the above ordinance regarding illicit discharge and connection of stormwater be and is hereby dispensed with, as copies thereof have been previously furnished to each member of the Town Council, and that the same be adopted as a first reading and referred to the Ordinance Committee for public hearing.
So there's a motion from Mrs. Dancho to send it to the Ordinance Committee. Is there a second? Mr. Ticky. Is there any discussion on this? Any discussion? Mr. Can, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a request that when we discuss this at ordinance, that someone from maybe Mr. Casey be there to provide, because I'm seeing it as people discharging sewage into the storm system, and as, what problems are we seeking to address, how predominant, et cetera. Just if someone with that expertise could be there.
I think Mr. Can has a good point. We need expertise on this because of the...
And Mr. Chair, to add on to Mr. Can's request, the town attorney who worked closely on this as well be at that ordinance to discuss.
Mrs. Dancho, you're the chair, so you'll have fun with that, right?
Thank you.
Okay. So if there's no further questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 8-0. Okay, 6.2.1 resolution. Mr. O'Brien.
Yes, I make a motion that the Town Council authorizes the Board of Education to apply to the Commissioner of Education and to accept or reject a grant for roof replacement at Eli Whitney Elementary School, that the Town Building Needs Committee is hereby established as the building committee with regard to the roof replacement project at Eli Whitney Elementary School, and that the Stratford Town Council hereby authorizes at least the preparation of schematic drawings and outline specifications for the roof replacement project at Eli Whitney Elementary School.
Is there a second?
Oh, second.
Mrs. Dancho. Is there any discussion on this?
Yes, I'd just like to add, this is a long overdue project to seek the state reimbursement. I remember walking in there last winter during the basketball season. There are buckets all over the hallway leading into the gym. And this is something that I think the past council, because of their inability to pass a budget, has left the school in a bad situation.
Is there any other comments or discussion? If not, I'll call to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 8-0. Mr. O'Brien, 6.2.2.
Yes, I make a motion that the council authorize the Board of Education to apply to the Commissioner of Education and to accept or reject a grant for flooring replacement at Eli Whitney Elementary School, and that the Town Building Needs Committee is hereby established as the building committee with regard to the flooring replacement project at Eli Whitney Elementary School, and that the Stratford Town Council hereby authorizes at least the preparation of schematic drawings and outline specifications for the flooring replacement project at Eli Whitney Elementary School.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
David's.
Mrs. Tancho, I saw her first. Okay. So is there any discussion? Any discussion? If not, we'll call to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 8-0. Mr. Hardin, can you help us out on 6.2.3?
6.2.3, it's motion to resolve that the Stratford Town Council authorizes the Board of Education to apply Commissioner of Education and to accept or reject a grant for the flooring replacement at Franklin School. That the Town Building Needs Committee hereby established as the building committee, which in regards to the flooring replacement project at Franklin School, it is resolved that the Stratford Town Council hereby authorize at least the preparation of the schematic drawings and the outline specifications of the floor replacement project at Franklin Elementary School.
There's a motion for Mr. Hardin. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Perillo, is there any discussion on this?
Long project that needed to be done, so I'm excited about it. It's overdue.
Anyone else? Mr. Can, your district, any comments?
Agree with Dave, and
Let's do it.
it's such a great idea, I think we should go.
Okay. We have an opportunity to vote twice. We're only going to vote once. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 8-0. There has been a typo here. We're going to move down to 6.2.4, resolution regarding Sterling House.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I would just suggest that the motion on this be that item 6.2.4, resolution regarding Sterling House grant, be approved.
He wants to see the Red Sox win.
Okay.
You don't have to read the whole thing. I'm just trying to.
No, yeah.
that's
I
all.
got you. I got
If
you.
you move.
Okay, is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion that item 6.2.4 be approved.
Second by Mr. O'Brien. Any discussion on this? If not, all in favor, say aye. Motion passes 8-0 with the chair voting. 6.2.5, same thing. We don't have to read everything.
We don't have to read it. I'll make the motion.
Okay, Mrs. Dancho make a motion. Is there a second? Mr. Hardin? And is there any discussion on this? If not, we'll call to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. 6.2.6. Mr. And this is a grant, public health. Is a second, Mr. Ticky? Is there any discussion?
Actually, that the resolution be
Did
approved.
Andrea need to come up here? I'm going to have Andrea come up and explain this to us. Yeah, and she sat here quietly for an hour and a half, so.
The best is not director according to the state of Connecticut.
The bestest,
Right, make it worth my while.
yeah.
So this is a $90,000 grant we get annually. Don't be fooled, though, it's $36,000 is for our own preparedness, and $54,000 of it is for us to serve as a lead for the Medical Reserve Corps for all of Region 1. So we will be doling out a good portion of that $54,000. But it is in support of our emergency preparedness initiatives.
Anyone having questions for Andrea?
Thank you for applying for the grant and for maintaining this annual renewal.
So I second that motion.
On it.
Okay, if not, we'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. New business, this 7.1. Mr. Hardin, can you help us with this?
Execute personal service agreement, grant from DEP, a DEEP, and the amount of $52,746 to construct a playscape at the South End Community Center.
There's a motion seconded by Mr. Perillo.
Thank you.
Any discussion on this? If not, we'll call to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. 7.2.1, Mr. Ticky.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Martha Boddington of 69 Stiles Street, 7th District B, and is hereby appointed a member of the Longbrook Park Commission to the seat of Kaylin Bard, resigned term is expiring November 6, 2020.
Mr. Perillo, would you like to second that? Second by Mr. Perillo. Is there any discussion on this appointment? If not, I'll call it to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 8-0. I don't believe there's anything else. I'm moving down the list, so I'm going to make a motion for adjournment.
So move.
So moved by Mr. Harden, seconded by Mr. O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.